Hey guys, this episode we're going to be featuring the Dugtrio line, the Persian line, the Golduck line, Primeape line, Arcanine line, and the Poliwrath line. And let's just jump right into it. Starting things off, we have Dugtrio. Let's see what Dugtrio starts with. If we get a ground move, then we should be okay, and we don't. Well, Tri-Attack is pretty strong. Maybe we can work with that. If I remember correctly, Tri-Attack can induce different status ailments as well. It can either paralyze, burn, or freeze. So maybe we can use that to our advantage. I'm surprised actually it doesn't do more damage to the Weedle here. And unfortunately we didn't level up to level 6, which we'll do right now. But here, going right into the Brock fight, let's see how much Tri-Attack does. And almost nothing. Burn is great. I don't know what the best play with Dugtrio is. We're going to experiment with a few things. Also, can Tri-Attack paralyze Geodude? I'm guessing it can. Yeah, that should be able to. Anyway, Dugtrio, we do get through Geodude on this attempt. Let's see how we do against Onix. Unfortunately, we just can't do much damage to it. Oof. Yeah, I'm not sure the best play is going to be to decrease the opponent's attacks first, or accuracy first, or hope for a status condition first. The only status condition that would really help us is a freeze, as long as the opponent stays frozen for a good amount of time. But yeah, decreasing the accuracy might not be reliable enough because we're pretty frail, unfortunately. Let's keep going. Keep trying a few things out. Here, of course, we're going to start out with sand attacks. Wow, a single tackle brings us down to just over health. Oh, over half, I mean. Here, yeah, we can paralyze. Right, here we're going for kind of a hodgepodge of strategies, but yeah, this might not be possible, unfortunately. Let's give it a few more tries. But yeah, Dugtrio I think is just too frail and too underleveled here, and doesn't get much as far as strategies go. And here I'm using mostly Tri-Attack against Geodude, but since there are only 10 power points in Tri-Attack, it means we're going to have only Scratch for Onix, and that means no chance at status conditions. I'm going to try a couple more times, but I think we're going to have to throw in the towel for Dugtrio. Alright, let's give it one more shot. Paralysis is good, but yeah, we're already at 55% health. There's no way we're getting through. I like Dugtrio, but I think we're going to have to call it quits. Alright, let's see what we get with Persian. If we get Bite, we have a chance. And we do! Nice. So we might be able to get through. Here, I think Scratch is actually a little stronger. No chance for flinch, but we don't need it against Squirtle. And against Weedle, same thing. There we go. Ended up biting it a little bit, but doesn't matter that much. Here, of course, we gotta go with Bite. So far, so good. And Bite doesn't do a whole lot of damage. Well, we didn't make it through that time, but we can see it's clearly going to be possible. We're just going to need slightly better luck. We could also growl, but I think the best thing is just going to be to Bite. I think against Onix too, though I'm not sure. This might take a few tries. Here we do use Growl to decrease the Geodude's attack just a bit. Don't think it mattered though. Ooh, that was a lucky miss. And then our luck ran out. Well, let's try again. Let me move this here, make things a little quicker. Try growling. There we go, that's much better. Alright, moving on to Onix with slightly better health this time. Oof. Alright, we used a couple growls to drop that attack. We're still taking a lot of damage though. It's close, and we do it! Nice! Alright. I really like Persian. I'm glad Persian makes it through. Alright, let's move straight on to Golduck. What does Golduck get? As long as we get a water move, we should be good. Unless that water move is water sport. Oh, shoot. I'd had kind of high hopes for Golduck. Well, we'll still play through and see how we do. But without a water damage dealing move, I don't think we're going to stand a chance. We might try with disable strategies, but that's proven to not be very effective. Well, fortunately Bulbasaur's no problem. Weedle should be no problem as well. And unfortunately we don't level up after Bulbasaur. Ooh, we do get poisoned, but I think we're in the clear. Yeah. Alright, let's move on to Brock. Against Brock. Yeah, there's really not much for us to do, unfortunately. Tail Whip is pointless. Disable could potentially give us a few extra turns, but that's about it. And Disable's so unreliable. Yeah, misses, what, 25% of the time, hypothetically? And even then, sometimes Disable, yeah, like here, Disable wears off almost right away. I don't think Golduck has any chance. Let's move on to Primeape. Primeape, as long as Primeape gets a fighting move, I think we'll be able to do it. And sure enough, we get low kick. Nice. I think I'd prefer a karate chop, but low kick should do. Maybe not against Bulbasaur though. We'll stick with Scratch. And I think it's in this generation. I'll need to fact check myself. But I think it's in this generation that low kick does damage dependent on the opponent's weight. So the heavier the opponent, the more damage low kick does. Alright, let's move right on to Brock. See how we do. Geodude is nice and easy. Make it through no problem. And then low kick. Ooh. Onix knocked us out. Yeah, low kick should do more damage against Onix. If my theory is correct in the weight being a factor here. Onix is a lot heavier than Geodude. I was gonna say I'm surprised that Onix took us out, but it is double our level. So, okay. Here we go. I think we got it. Alright. Awesome. Also, can low kick flinch? I don't remember. Need to check on that too. Cool. Alright. Let's see if Mankey can make it through too. Mankey doesn't start with a fighting move, which is not good. Only scratch in there. It's kind of to be expected. Let's see if we get one. I don't know. Let's see. Against Weedle. Alright, we're we're gonna use Leer a couple times just so we can knock it out a little bit faster. Save us about a turn. And moment of truth. Alright, we do get low kick. Nice. Alright, so we do have a chance. Let's see how this goes. Alright. Ooh, that's not good. That is very much not good. Alright, let's try again. Okay. And here I use a Leer, but that was kind of silly. I should just immediately go with low kick. Oof. Yeah, I think Mankey unfortunately might just be too frail. I can only take a single hit. If we get hit by tackle, I think at all, then it basically ensures that we're not going to get through. But heck, even against Onix, I think, because Onix only throws damage dealing moves. Hypothetically, if we were to only use Bind every turn, then maybe we'd be able to get through. But I don't know if that's even a possibility. I'm gonna keep trying, but I don't think we're gonna be able to make it with Mankey. Yeah, I'm gonna have to throw the towel in for Mankey too, unfortunately. I think the odds are just astronomical. And heck, it might not even be possible. So, unfortunately, we're going to drop Mankey and move right on to Arcanine. Let's see what Arcanine gets. If we get Bite, and we do! Awesome. We do get Bite, so maybe we stand a chance against Brock. We get Ember too, which is nice. So we can maybe try shooting for the burn as well with an Ember. Let's see how we do against Weedle. Weedle's no problem. And against Brock, that Intimidate is nice. And let's go for the Bite. I was hoping Bite would do a little bit more. We get pretty lucky there, though. Actually, we get very lucky. Alright, now against Onix, I don't know what to do for... Oh, that's bad. We can pretty much not take a hit. That's not good. If Rock Tomb hits us, we're gone for. I'm surprised it deals that much damage, actually. I thought Arcanine would be a little more bulky. Okay, well, we get really lucky against Geodude again here. And I'm going to try Ember again, hoping for a burn. But that's really bad. I think if we just use Bite, we don't stand a chance. And we need to get really lucky with the flinches. Like really, really lucky. If we need to get really lucky with the burn too. Here we didn't even get a chance. This is not looking good for Arcanine. We almost made it through on full health. Onto Onix. So I'm going to try Bite this time. But yeah, Bite. That looks like it's going to be, what, like an 8 or 9 shot or something? That's not good. And even with the burn, which we haven't even gotten yet, I don't think Arcanine is just going to stand any chance. I'd try and Roar, but I think there's absolutely no reason for it. Just wanted to try something different. But, yeah. Let's speed things up, but I don't think Arcanine's going to make it through, unfortunately. Rock types are really going... Or not rock types. Fire types are really going to struggle in this very first section. We're going to be lucky if any others make it through, aside from Ninetales. But hopefully we'll see some. There aren't that many. I think in the next section we just have Rapidash. Alright, here we make it through Geodude with 26. Yeah. Let's try just a couple more times. Speed things up. Try a couple more times. But I don't have a lot of faith that Arcanine is going to make it. Oof. Yeah. Sorry. I think we're going to have to call it for Arcanine. Alright. Let's move on to our final line of the day. we got Poliwrath line. Or Poliwhirl line, whichever you prefer. Cool, we do get Water Gun. We also get Submission. I think Water Gun's just going to be better, though. However, against Bulbasaur, the Double Slap is probably the best option. Yeah, frankly, Submission's kind of a crappy move. We also have Hypnosis. I don't think we're going to need it, at least not for a while. But in this episode, I don't think we're going to need it. This section of the game, rather. I think Water Gun is just going to be enough. And hopefully we'll get Water Gun with Poliwhirl and Poliwag as well. We might get Bubble. I'm not sure. But I'm hoping that they all get... Ah, shoot. I didn't mean to do that. Alright, let's go fight Sammy one more time. We get poisoned, but we're fine. We don't even need to dwell on that. Alright. Brock. That's just Water Gun. Easy peasy. And we're leveling up fast, too. We're already level 9, which is great. And... alright, no problem. Poliwrath makes it through. Poliwrath is pretty cool. I'm glad it does. Alright, let's try Poliwhirl. I like Poliwhirl, too. Alright, Poliwhirl time. And let's see what we get. Bubble and Water Gun. And Hypnosis, which is nice. So, of course, we're going to try to put this Bulbasaur to sleep. And then we're going to Water Gun, Water Gun. Water Gun's going to be pretty weak because Bulbasaur resists it. With our Stab, that's basically going to make it a base power of 30. Just slightly weaker than a Tackle. But yeah, we still... Ooh, it's still a pretty close match. I'm surprised actually by how close that was. Good thing we had Hypnosis. Something to note about certain Pokemon is some of them have two possible abilities. For example, Poliwhirl. Here you can see this Poliwhirl has Water Absorb. Another one that I had started with has Damp. So here you can see Water Absorb, Damp, Water Absorb, Damp. Here I opted for the male Poliwhirl. I think Water Absorb might be slightly better. I think the cases in which we are going to encounter Pokemon who use Self-Destruct and Explosion are rare enough that we don't need to, want Damp. So, I don't know. I'm guessing Water Absorb is better, but they're probably about the same. Anyway, Brock should be no problem, obviously. Sammy and his Weedle were fine. And there goes Geodude. And Onyx is no problem whatsoever. Poliwhirl makes it through. Yeah! Alright, let's see what we get with Poliwag. Poliwag, we get only Bubble. Oh boy. I think this is gonna be the first time. I'm gonna say the rival's gonna be impossible. I don't think there's any way. If we set it up against Charmander, then we probably could make it through. But I'm surprised we actually got Bulbasaur that was far down as we did. But yeah, I'm gonna give up on the rival. I'll give it one more shot. Just to see if maybe we get super lucky. But I doubt it. But yeah, we're not going to make it through the rival with Poliwag, unfortunately. But that's okay. Hopefully we'll be able to make it through the Weedle. Oop, forgot to turn off random encounters. Let me do that. Hopefully we can make it through the Weedle okay. Because Weedle we do have to get through in order to progress. And obviously, same thing with Brock. After the Weedle will be either... Here, real quick, let's just grab this potion. I'll go through some of the items in this section of the game. I haven't really covered those much, what we can and can't get. What we have to do, too. This is kind of annoying, but we have to get Oak's parcel from the shopkeep. And we have to bring it back down to Oak. This is so much more bearable without random encounters. And anyway, delivering the parcel. So Oak gives us the Pokedex. And some Pokeballs. And I'm not going to worry about the town map. Don't really need it. And we make our way back up. Now we can't progress until we deliver that parcel to Oak because of the cranky coffee guy right here, whose sprites do not match whatsoever. And I have the Pokemon encounter here as random, so just for fun. Makes no difference. It's just for fun. He's run into a Tyranitar before, which is kind of fun. Anyway, right here we have a potion. I don't always pick all of these items up. In fact, usually I skip most of them just because I don't think we're going to need them. Of course, we don't use them in battle. And forgot, we actually have a potion in here we can grab too. Now we'll make our way back up northward. We can't get the items over to the right yet. And here we have a few items we can pick up, including Pokeball here, potion here, antidote here. We've got a hidden item, and then there's a potion right there. And then we go up against Sammy, who might be a bit difficult. Let's find out. We get poisoned on the first turn, which is terrible luck. Let's try again. If we get poisoned that early on, there's zero chance of getting through. We would just take too much damage. Even if it didn't attack us anymore, we would take too much damage before we were able to deal enough damage to knock it out. Alright, let's see if we can get better luck this time. We're actually... looks like we might get through. We're getting really lucky here. It's using a lot of string shots. And surprisingly, looks like our second try we make it through. Cool, I didn't expect that. I thought it was going to take us at least 5, but we did it. And there's actually a hidden item right here, another potion. And then we'll make our way up. North, north, north. Let's heal up real fast before I forget. And then, coming around over here, there's actually a hidden Pokeball. And I believe that's all of the items we can acquire right now. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. But I think that's everything. So, with not really anything else to do, let's go fight Brock. Alright, all we have to do is use Bubble, and that did more than I expected. Unfortunately, Geodude is also doing a lot. Oh, nice. Okay, here we do learn Hypnosis, which we don't get a chance to use, but that is a good thing. Let's try this again and hopefully get better luck against Geodude. There's a good chance that it'll only use Defense Curl against us. But yeah, Onix is almost certainly going to use Rock Tomb, especially if we're that low, have that low hit points. Eesh, we are not getting the greatest luck with this Geodude though. Let's keep going, because I'm willing to bet that this is possible. I'm rooting for Poliwag too. It'll be really cool if it makes it through. Okay, cool. Here we get some way better luck. And yeah, Bubble does a lot. I think we've got this. Ooh, so close. So dang close. Alright, let's try again. Obviously, it's possible. Alright, we're getting some good luck against this Geodude. 2 defense curls, that's absolutely perfect. We're moving on with full health. This might be the run. That's not good. There we go. And bubble, 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 bubble. Alright. Nice. Happy to say Poliwag makes it through. Alright. So out of 13 contenders, 9 have made... oh my gosh. Out of 13 contenders, 5 have made it through. I'm not too surprised about the Poliwag line, or the Primeape line for that matter. I'm a little bit impressed by Persian though. I'm really glad all of these guys made it through. I was pretty hopeful that more would defeat Brock, but it is what it is. Alright, coming in next time, we're going to skip over the trade evolutions, so we're going to hit the Bellsprout line, Tentacool line, Ponyta line, Slowpoke line, Magnemite line, Farfetch'd Doduo line, the Doduo line, and finally the Seal line. I think it'll be interesting, should be fun. I look forward to doing it. I hope it'll be fun to watch. Alright, bye guys.